All right, next subject we're going to talk about is the bar feeders off the CNC machine themselves. About
It's something that I like to talk about because it's so common. So many times in factories, I'll see the bar feeder smoking. And what you have is the recently cut machine parts, the chips that are waste, are taken out of the bar feeder and it kind of goes up a conveyor into a barrel. And in the process, this part is still hot, it's smoking, the oil has been injected on it as it's been being cut. And that bar feeder acts like a little chimney. And you just see the smoke coming. Once it gets in the bar feeder, it's really encased as it is carried up to the barrel. And you see the bar feeder smoking. And a lot of people get ambient air problems in their factory because these bar feeders are just slowly smoking throughout the day. And gradually the air quality just diminishes. Now they might have an air filtration unit on the CNC machine itself. It's just that they're not getting enough negative air pressure in the cabinet to keep that bar feeder from smoking, and the smoke just billows out. So one of the key things we've realized in the years that we've been doing this is to make sure not necessarily that you're using a HEPA quality filter, but that you're getting good air filtration but a lot of negative pressure in the cabinet so that these bar feeders aren't smoking. And a lot of times we see instances where, whether it's a tri-mist or a mist buster, they come with an air filtration unit right on the CNC, and they have a HEPA filter on that. And a lot of times the factory thinks, well, we have HEPA filters, this is a good thing, this is going to keep our air cleaner, when in reality it's not, because the HEPA filter, although it's filtering a smaller volume of air, and a larger volume of air is just escaping and not getting any filtration.
So basically, without creating that negative pressure, it has nowhere to go, and the HEPA filter it's limiting the amount of CFMs, so to speak, that goes through it.
The amount of cubic feet of air moved per minute is diminished greatly, and the result is that air billows out the side or up the bar feeder. So it's critical to remember that you might need more negative air pressure, and you might not be better off with a HEPA filter. In fact, you might be better off, especially with cutting oils, whether they're oil-based cutting fluids or water-based cutting fluids. You do want to keep, especially with the high pressure PSI that's going on with a lot of these CNC machines. You want to make sure you keep a negative air pressure, and a lot of times getting rid of the HEPA filters is better. However, we do realize a lot of times that the machines are missized. And
that's what I was just going to say.
Some of the machines
they're shipped that way, but plug and play, they're not really
they're
perfect
not
for the
always
application.
taken into consideration, and it seems like some of the machines are undersized, and
and the client wouldn't necessarily know it until it's too late, and then they have to kind of work around other issues to try to solve the problem.
They don't know why they don't know where their source of pollution might be coming from, because it's just a little bit is coming from a lot of machines that are running at the same time.
Now, I think you did show me a video on that, and I think you have a very good example, which I could kind of lace into this video, but as we're talking about it, I think most people will know what we're talking about, but to actually see it in action and kind of see it coming through the air, which it's not supposed to be there in the first place, and then at that point the ambient air systems need to kind of work just as hard to get that out.
And if you're letting something get to your ambient air when you could catch it at the source, it's much more efficient. Catch it at the source, because the ambient air means it's on your product, it's in the operator's nose, it's in his lungs, it's on everything, and
so it's a health issue as well.
It becomes a health issue. Keep the negative pressure in the cabinet. Let's get it and let's get it at the source. We specialize in that, and that's why consultation is sometimes a very cost-effective way to go about solving this problem, because we can identify these problems pretty quick and let you know right away whether a machine is undersized, or you just need to replace the HEPA filter, or you just need to clean the filters. Because again, a lot of times factories don't actually have a system where they're replacing these filters at predetermined times, and they're getting dirty.
Well, that makes a ton of sense. And speaking of consultations, if you can actually get into the building, see what kind of things they're doing, the speed at which they're doing them at, the productivity that they're doing it at, the deadlines, and how fast things are moving through the machine probably plays an important part on how quick to get rid of, the smoke that's being produced. A lighter production run you may not notice right out of the gate, which it might be sized for out of the gate, but if you're overusing it or pushing the machine to its limits, it's going to literally, be at the outer edge of what it's capable of doing, but the machine or the actual source capture can't handle what you're trying to do, and you'll be able to visually put an eye on it and say, hey, how much is going through here? What kind of cutting fluids? Are they oil-based, water-based, whatever the...
Exactly. Whether it's plastics, there's just a whole litany of things. And we specialize in electrostatic filtration, so we're specializing our service and our
clean
expertise is oily, factory, industrial air. Specialize in wood shops or particulate like dust. We're very, very particular because it's a big problem. A lot of factories have ambient smoke now. It's getting out, and they're not quite sure how to handle it.
And if it doesn't go up through the ambient air systems, eventually it'll settle on
HVAC
product.
Well,
or get into
goes into the HVAC system, and now you're paying a ton of money to clean the condensers off your air conditioner because it's trying to now clean air that it's not intended to clean. It's intended to condition the air. You have pre-filters in there, but they're just
still
mild dust. And
some of the
like
odors can really come through if
it clogs up. The oil will condense on the air conditioning units and all the pre-filters, and just everything gets clogged up. Your air conditioner doesn't work as efficient, and so that ends up costing you money because it's running longer. So it's really beneficial to get any missed issues resolved, and if you could get it at the source, it's always better to get it at the source.
And you don't want to band-aid up the situation. If you could just actually fix it right in the first place, get it working properly, you don't have to spend a lot of time and money trying to patch up issues that shouldn't even be there in the first place.
Many times I see in factories, they'll put a bunch of ambient units to get the factory air cleaner, when in reality they have a heavy smoker, I like to say, which is one CNC machine that's causing the problem, and it's much more cost effective to get that one at the source, and then you don't have to worry about so many ambient units. So there's different ways to tackle the problems in each factory, but that's what we do. We can go in and specialize in figuring out how to get the air cleaner. The end result is you need the clean air, and we can provide that.